Sometimes it's hard to see mistakes in ourselves, but we can see them more clearly in someone else. What do you see men doing repeatedly without realizing it is holding them back? Are we causing ourselves more worry, fear, anxiety, stress, and pressure than necessary? Or what could some men easily do that would help them move forward, but they are not? Story 1. Prioritizing being with someone who makes them miserable over being alone is firmly within the top 5 pieces of advice I would give my future son to avoid potentially ruining his life at a young age, especially. Story 2. Being too defensive. You are going to be wrong many times in your life. Learn to do it gracefully. Trust me, you gain more wisdom, growth, and respect by admitting you were wrong than by trying to avoid responsibility by coming up with a technically correct way to be considered right. Story 3. Choosing the wrong woman. Avoiding being single due to loneliness. Avoiding reflecting on past mistakes due to discomfort. Story 4. Putting all their emotional eggs in one basket is unwise. Men need to have more relationships outside of the relationship they have with their romantic partner. Story 5. I think a lot of people, both men and women, are too passive in their lives. You will never get the life you want unless you work for it. I am not saying you can achieve any goal just by trying and working towards it, but you definitely will not achieve those goals if you do not try and work towards them. If you want to be in a good relationship, you have to put effort into making yourself attractive, meeting people, dating, and putting effort into the relationship. Dating is a competition. If you do not try to win, you will lose. Being in a relationship takes effort. It should not be painful or hard necessarily, but it takes effort to be with someone, to make them happy, and to make sure you are happy. If you want a promotion or a better job, you have to work to get it. No one is going to hand you more money. Work hard, sell yourself, and tell management you want a promotion. Apply to other jobs. Get other offers. Force their hand. If you hate your living situation, move. If you hate how people treat you, do not put up with it. If you hate your relationship, end it. You are the only person in charge of your life. These things are not easy. They can be very hard. But you have to do it, or you will just be a passenger in a life you do not want. Story 6. Listening to friends who are in similar or worse situations instead of listening to wiser or more experienced friends who are where they want to be. Story 7. Avoiding difficult feelings, actively dismissing them, or fighting them is not easy. However, learning to receive your feelings with warmth and care is an important skill. Feelings are important messengers. They are not always accurate about what is happening in the present, and some people become overwhelmed by their feelings, which can lead to toxic or abusive outcomes. This is not the case here. You are not your feelings, but your feelings are important guests who need to be welcomed with warmth, care, and love. Have a conversation with them and understand what they are trying to tell you. Feelings usually relate to your past, your needs, or boundaries. Learn from them. Avoiding feelings only keeps you stuck and increases their control over you. Story 8. I cannot stand seeing a man stay with a cheating woman. I do not care if you have been together for a year or 30. I cannot even fathom staying with a cheating woman. I do not care how many children we have either. Story 9. Focusing too much on work and earning money to the point that they neglect many other important parts of life. I understand we live under capitalism, and we all need money to live and want nice things and experiences, but money is just one part of life. Beyond a certain point, more money and career success do not really improve your actual quality of life. You need to make time for your friends, your family, for finding and keeping a romantic partner if you want one, for being outside in nature sometimes, and for indulging in hobbies that make you happy. I have met men who are so hyper-focused on working that it seems compulsive and sad to me. They are missing out on so much else. Story 10. Putting too much pressure on romantic relationships for emotional and social satisfaction, rather than expanding your social circle to meet some of the same needs, can be problematic. I say some because obviously friends cannot fulfill everything a romantic partner can, but having friends helps reduce the pressure of finding a romantic partner. Women can sense when a man is desperate for an emotional outlet, and it is usually a turnoff. Expanding your social circle also increases your chances of meeting a romantic partner naturally, without much effort. However, that should not be your main goal. And by social circle, I mean in real life. Social media does not count. Story 11. Changing their personalities, hobbies, and interests according to what some YouTube influencer tells them. Knowing what women want. No, you don't, neither do they. They do not share a hive mind controlled remotely. If you are a sensitive man, do not try to become a heartless stoic. Find a woman who is into men like you. Listen to what the woman you are talking to says. You can increase your chances with women in 1 hour. Take a shower, shave, or maintain your beard. That will put you leagues above the average man. Extra points if you are flexible with your haircut and clothes and change them into something that fits you. No one wants to hear how you are the best at everything. Trying to have a girlfriend out of fear of being alone leads to getting involved with horrible partners. Story 12. It drives me crazy to watch men who struggle with dating listen to negative voices that only reinforce their confirmation bias, instead of listening to men who have successful dating lives and are genuinely trying to help. For most women, it is really about confidence. It is not about your height, bank account, or the hair on your head. It might be because of poor hygiene. Shower and take care of your hygiene. Story 13. Letting their desires lead the way. I cannot count how many men I know who have prioritized relationships over personal progress. It is quite baffling to see men over 30 years old act like teenagers on a regular basis. I enjoy intimacy as much as anyone else, but not enough to ruin my life over it. Story 14. Procrastination is the failure to practice self-discipline, control, and care. Worrying about having a relationship when one can barely take care of oneself. Story 15. Not acknowledging or working on their emotional needs, whether actively addressing their issues in therapy or simply recognizing that they have feelings. Story 16. People who are overly competitive. There is a time and place for being competitive, but if you have to win a throwaway argument, conversation, or some recreational league game, eventually people will not want to spend time with you anymore, and it may get you into trouble. Story 17. Trying too hard to get with the attractive girl, even though the shy, average girl is more passionate. The other one will only seek her own pleasure, likely leaving you disappointed or hanging afterwards. Ego lifting in the gym. Everyone can tell you are not doing exercises correctly, and we laugh because of it. No one is impressed. You are only cheating yourself out of real progress. Not noticing when a woman is flirting. If she is trying to get you alone, she is either trying to take advantage of you or to get close. Not doing things they enjoy because of societal pressure. Not extreme actions, but don't worry about ordering a fruity drink at the bar. Those who judge you usually have nothing better going on in their lives. Story 18. Treating women like sex objects before even attempting to treat them like humans deserving of care and respect. Very often, if you treat women like humans deserving of care and respect first, many will want to be closer to you later, but you have to truly respect them and not just pretend. Story 19. Thinking they are going to figure things out socially and finally understand everything. Was that woman interested in me? What did I do wrong in that situation? What is the best way to ask this woman out? Is that person in my league? Why did that person react that way? There is often not enough information and predictability in the world for you to know the answers to these questions. The way to build more understanding and marginally increase your confidence in assessing individual situations is to keep going and keep living your life without knowing. You will realize that everybody else is getting by without understanding the exact thoughts, feelings, and intentions of the people they interact with. There are rarely foolproof ways of getting answers even if you are determined to get them. If you wonder if you are in a woman's league, you can ask her out, but you still might not find out the answer. She might turn you down for personal reasons that have nothing to do with you. Or she might go out with you because she likes the activity you proposed and thinks she will have a good time, even though she is skeptical about being attracted to you. Over time, you will improve your judgment and sharpen your perception, but you will still operate with a large degree of uncertainty because people are complex, and you have limited information about them. The important thing now is to get more comfortable with this and better at gracefully handling the different possibilities when your judgment is wrong, so you can enjoy your life now and build a library of experience to learn from later. Story 20. Knowing how to slow down when pursuing a woman. Some men think that if they keep pursuing, she will eventually give in. No, you are just being annoying. You have to let her think about you and decide to invite you in. Story 21. Having children with women who do not want children, but the wife does, or spending excessively on unnecessary items such as vehicles. In their 20s, I saw many men tolerate difficult relationships because being alone was not an option for them, but by their 30s, they had stopped doing that. Story 22. Dating women who are obsessed with getting attention online. Unless the man is also obsessed with getting attention, you are just wasting your time dating attention-addicted women. They are completely undateable in the long run and will wreak havoc on your life. Story 23. Trying to assert respect but never admitting being wrong. When a person never admits being wrong, my respect for them decreases. Story 24. Thinking talking makes you seem intelligent. Shut up, so they do not know how stupid you really are. This applies to career, social, and romantic situations. Story 25. When dieting or whatever, they just eat plain pasta or chicken. What is going on with that? Have you heard about spices? Story 26. Not realizing that women are just human beings. People tend to either put them on a pedestal or treat them badly, with nothing in between. They are just as interested in intimacy, but that does not mean they will sleep with someone who does not see them as a person. Story 27. When people allow their ego to dictate the course of their life or how they treat or deal with others, fear of change, fear of how other people live, greed, irreverence, and similar feelings arise. It is a human experience not limited to men. Instead of reason, we sometimes let emotion choose for us. This rarely leads to positive outcomes. Even well-intentioned emotional choices often end poorly. Let your brother stay with you for a while or give a coworker a ride home because their car broke down. These things can quickly lead to dependency, which is harmful for both you and the other person. Just as ambition can turn into domination or greed, it is important to take stock of where you are, how you got there, where you want to be, and reflect on the choices you made, why you made them, and what those choices brought you. Sometimes we cannot see the forest for the trees, so reflection helps us do that. It helps avoid the trap of letting ego dictate your life. What you do not see in the moment, you can understand with the wisdom of hindsight. Story 28. Dropping the selfish ego when faced with truth, especially from a woman who genuinely cares and loves them, is easy to say but hard to do. Yet it will make everything a lot easier. Story 29. Not living beyond their means but beyond their ego. Do not buy stuff that does not benefit you. The things you buy to impress others will not make you better. They care for 3 seconds and their day moves on. Buy things that improve your skills, mental well-being, and happiness within your own space. Those have longer personal value. Of course, you can spoil yourself every blue moon, but within means and reason. Story 30. Being poor at managing and expressing emotions in a healthy manner. Additionally, not having done the work to learn how to do so. I work a warehouse job and have a few male coworkers who I have personally witnessed lose control on multiple occasions while talking to someone over the phone. I do not know if the person on the other end was a girlfriend, wife, or friend, but these men have visibly become enraged and have cursed at the other person. I may not know the full story behind those interactions, but work is not the place to air personal relationship problems. It is important to learn how to manage emotions better. Story 31. Some things I haven't read yet but see many people doing or not doing. Personal hygiene. Brush your teeth twice a day. Shower at least every other day. Every day during summer. Wear fresh underwear every day. Some people are just neglectful and don't realize it. Become more independent in all aspects of your life. Learn how to cook. Learn how to drive. Learn how to clean and fix things. If your mother needs to visit your apartment to clean your windows and your father needs to change your tires, you have not succeeded as a son. Invest time in your friends. Keep in touch. It is difficult to make new friends as it is. Rebuilding a lost connection is the second hardest thing. Meeting once a week or once a month is easy. Don't let life be an excuse if you can spend 3 hours a day on entertainment websites. This ended up being more like general life advice, but many friends and colleagues I know complain about their life and I see these things going wrong every time. Story 32. Inaction is an action against yourself. Get off your ass and take steps toward getting the things you want in life. Talk to the girl. Go to the gym. Work harder. Story 33. Today, chasing the benefits that come with pursuing purpose, such as spouse, family, finances, and home, as the ultimate goal itself. Story 34. When it comes to nerdy interests, chasing the kind of street credibility that basically comes down to being a carbon copy of the comic book character. I understand that mental health issues play a part in this, but sometimes it is so draining to see the same nonsense you saw when you were a teenager over and over again. Story 35. Staying in an unhappy relationship just because she allows you to be intimate occasionally. Gaining weight and not taking the necessary steps to lose it. Most importantly, not contributing equally in a shared household. Story 36. This man I work with often leaves work early because he has a custody battle with his child's mother. He also frequently brags about some women he sleeps with. Story 37. Cooking pasta all the way through and dumping the sauce on top is not ideal. Cook it 1 minute less than al dente and finish cooking it in the sauce over very low heat. The sauce will adhere better. Add some pasta water to thicken and flavor the sauce, and/or add butter off the heat for more flavor and a glossy sheen. Probably not what you meant, but I'm sticking to it. Story 38. Since I have been seeing a lot of mentions about worry, fear, and feeling that something is missing, here is the tool I work with, Path of Virtue. All free, no spam, no ads, no sign up. It is just about men who want to think clearer. Story 39. Too many young men are falling into the men's community. It is depressing and would not happen if they thought critically for 5 seconds. Story 40. Something that really matters or hurts today probably will not matter nearly as much or at all 2 years later. Do not end your life or waste too much time over it. Story 41. Men not reading their Holy Bible or missing church services and prayer meetings want to be the judge and ultimately their own God. It always ends badly for them every time. Story 42. Ignoring or tolerating warning signs in women or not standing their ground or standing up to them whenever they are being disrespected. Story 43. It is not as devastating as other issues, but many men seem to have no spatial awareness at all. I am not being accusatory, but rather observing that they appear less sympathetic, attentive, and considerate than they actually are. Many women have the same issue, but they are usually not as intimidating as men, so it does not become a significant problem for them. I do not mean those men who try to make their shoulders as broad as possible and engage in unpleasant male-spreading behavior. Those individuals are simply inconsiderate. Story 44. They think women think like men. They do not. You cannot see a woman do something, think, why would I choose to do that? And then assume her motive was what yours would have been. Women just think differently, and they are mystifying and confusing if you do not know that. This is true in many areas, such as communication, friendships, and decision-making, but nowhere is it more true than with sexuality. Male and female sexuality are nothing alike. They are so different that they do not make sense to each other. You have to actually study female sexuality as if it is an academic subject. There is a system there, but it is a totally different system from men's. Story 45. Wasting their late teens and early 20s on gaming and fruitless pursuits of pleasure. These things catch up to you in your 30s and 40s, and that regret outweighs the fruitless pursuits. If you are between 15 and 25 and reading this, take it from a former gamer. Do not do it. Spend every waking moment building wealth or finding out how to. Story 46. Thinking that constant stories about highly improbable events in their past make them appear cool and strong, rather than insecure and dishonest. Story 47. They are not taking the time to take care of themselves. They need respect and should treat their bodies better than they treat their trucks and cars. They spend all this time on unnecessary things instead of exercising, meditating, or practicing self-care. Story 48. Better hygiene. Get a manicure and pedicure. As someone who stands on concrete for 12 to 15 hours most days and uses knives all day, trust me, you look and feel better. Also, smell good. The number of compliments I receive for having a nice cologne without spraying too much is impressive. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.